think it's important to say that, you know, anyone who has experienced or been in the United States for any period of time and experienced this country's history and knows it cannot have believed that it would be easy to elect a woman president, let alone a woman of color. Let's just be clear. And nothing that was true yesterday about how flawlessly this campaign was run is not true now. I mean, this really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign. Queen Latifah never endorses anyone. She came out and endorsed. You know, I mean, she had every prominent.
That was amazing. You're right. You're right.
When she said flawless the second, he was like, okay. And then she said Queen Latifah, and it was like, but you know what? On MSNBC, you're not allowed to correct her. You're not allowed to say, Joy, what the hell are you talking about, right?
I mean, certainly.
She got more white votes. Kamala Harris got more white votes than Obama did. She lost the majority of Latino men. She lost 20% of black men. It was minorities. And it's not, and look, we never play that MSNBC game of blame the voters.
Right.
No, we're saying that you didn't deliver for those folks.
Exactly. And a Kasparian in chunky yogurt, chunky expired yogurt, comment his expiration date or chunk for the algorithm. Anyways, they are fed up with the woke media's lies that, oh, you know, America's just too racist. That's why they voted for Trump and all the nonsense that you heard Joy Reid say. And specifically the person that's more upset is obviously Anna. Anna's closer to coming to the right side of things. Praise God. Good for you, Anna. I think she's getting so tired of it. And I truly do believe that she doesn't even want to be on the show anymore. But she probably has a contract and she has a big audience that's starting to turn against her. But let's just start watching now. By the way, make sure you like today's video, subscribe, and we'll get right into it.
An ESPN classic. She ran a perfect campaign. She got Queen Latifah. What more could any candidate do? And then she added, she had every prominent celebrity. Totally oblivious to the fact that nobody gives a goddamn about your stupid celebrities. You care about them because you're like, oh, celebrities, oh my God. You guys are so precious, right? But what does a guy who's a steel worker in Pennsylvania care about Queen Latifah or even Beyonce or whatever?
Yeah, and actually I want to add something to this point because I just recently saw a TikTok video from, I think her name is Bethany Frankel. She's like a businesswoman, very big following on TikTok. She's been on Shark Tank too as like a shark, like she was a shark. And she just said this really interesting point about how this election proved that the American people do not care about celebrities anymore. I'll let her explain. I'm going to insert that clip right here.
Hot take, celebrities no longer have influence. Let me prove it. So there are like 300 million people in this country. There are 150 million voters, give or take. And the combined social media followings of the people that endorsed Kamala, meaning Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Selena, Chelsea, Amy, everybody, like powerful people, Obama, Hillary, the combined social media, Jennifer Lopez, etc. The combined number is over 2 billion followers. So over 2 billion followers, and yes, of course, it's what votes matter and what really did it, but over 2 billion followers did not move the needle for 150 million voters. So that means it's spinning wheels, it's useless, it's a flex, and it doesn't even do anything. So, you're welcome. John Legend, Chrissy Teigen, De Niro, you can add your own people because there's so many. Interesting, no? What does that mean? That's why LA's taking a beating right now. In real estate, the industry, it's widely known. Very interesting time, the age of authenticity is. Heard of Jay-Z? And what about like television show media impressions, the entire cast of The View? You know, like we just have to adjust instead of just jamming the same narrative down people's throats overall in what works and how to communicate with an audience.
After seeing that, don't you agree? Do you care about what all these Diddy party attending celebrities want, who they want you to vote for? If anything, vote for whoever they don't want you to vote for. And no one cares. I love it. And I love the point that she makes about how we're like living in the era of authenticity. And you so see that when it comes to people are sick of all the fillers they put in our food. We want clean food, organic food, real food. Like how come people can go live in Italy and have pasta, cheese, and carbs all the time and be skinny? Why? That's not fair. I like Italian food. That's my favorite type of food. So yeah, that's annoying. We want clean water. I mean, what else? We want clean like makeup and beauty products, everything. Everything. People want to wear 100% linen, 100% cotton. This is a trend. People are sick of all the fillers and like fake things in our society, in our diets, in our products, in our clothes, with everything. And I'm freaking here for it. But let's get back to Chunky Chunk, Chunky Yogurt, and Anna Kasparian.
So look, I don't mind the celebrity endorsements. Maybe they help around the edges. Maybe Taylor Swift got some younger voters in, although younger voters didn't show up to vote because they didn't get anything from the Democratic Party. They would have much preferred
Gen Z saved America. Let's go.
student debt relief than Queen Latifah or Beyonce, okay? But and it's not to say that there aren't some racists that voted against her because she's black, and there is some misogynists and sexists who voted against her because she's a woman. Of course there are, right? But was that the driving force in this election? No, the fact that they didn't deliver and that they thought just getting a bunch of celebrities around themselves and having corporate CEOs sign a letter saying she's great and getting Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney to say how wonderful they were.
Right.
And raising $1 billion meant that you ran a perfect campaign. Those are not the ends, those are the means.
And by the way, bitch, Kamala, come swallow whore Harris. If you ran a perfect campaign, you would have won. Story over, done, mic drop, bye.
And they're not even the correct means. But they can't see straight. To be fair, I was gonna say it at MSNBC, but I don't know if I'm over extrapolating, but when Reid said the Queen Latifah line, it looked like Chris Hayes went like,
Can we watch it again?
Yeah, or when she said she ran a flawless campaign. Let's rewatch it. I'm curious to see if I'm right about that or not.
And I think it's important to say that, anyone who has experienced or been in the United States for any period of time and experienced this country's history and knows it cannot have believed that it would be easy to elect a woman president, let alone a woman of color. Let's just be clear. And nothing that was true yesterday about how flawlessly this campaign was run is not true now. I mean,
it's just laughable at this point. Utterly laughable.
This really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign. Queen Latifah never endorses anyone. She came out and endorsed. She had every prominent.
That was amazing. You're right. You're right.
When she said flawless the second, he was like, okay. And then she said Queen Latifah, and it was like, but you know what? On MSNBC, you're not allowed to correct her. You're not allowed to say, Joy, what the hell are you talking about, right?
Certainly.
She got more white votes. Kamala Harris got more white votes than Obama did. She lost the majority of Latino men. She lost 20% of black men. It was minorities. And it's not, and look, we never play that MSNBC game of blame the voters.
Right.
No, we're saying that you didn't deliver for those folks.
Exactly, yes.
And the reason young people didn't show up in the numbers that you expected and other folks didn't show up isn't because they're in a particular demographic. It's because they're normal human beings that care about their wages, that care about the debt that they have, they care about housing prices, etc. And when you look, in the beginning, Kamala Harris was running a good campaign. Not flawless, but good. She was talking about housing prices.
Was it good? Was it really good, Chunk? This is where obviously their progressivism is showing.
She was talking about price gouging. She picked Tim Walz. People really liked that. She surged. She was up 5-6 points in the polls. By the end, she was tied in the polls. And as I told you a million times, if you're tied in a national poll and a Democrat, you can't win the Electoral College. And that's exactly what happened.
I want to end with one more video because, the blame game, it has already started. There's a lot of blame toward Latinos, a lot of blame toward white women, because of course, white women, the bane of this country's existence, the biggest enemy. But looks like the Harris campaign is blaming Biden as well. Let's take a look.
Interesting.
Obviously, there's going to be a lot of soul searching and asking a lot of questions in the coming hours and days about what, if anything, could Democrats and the Harris campaign have done differently. One thing that we are clearly already starting to see take place is finger pointing and the blame game. And a lot of that is going to be directed at President Biden. And this is even coming from some folks inside of the Harris campaign. One senior official I just talked to said Biden will hold. He should. when his performance completely blew up at the CNN debate over the summer, he had no choice, ultimately was forced to get out of the race. And that's why we ended up having this very truncated Kamala Harris campaign in the first place. And Democrats are looking back on all of this and thinking, what about that parallel universe where Joe Biden had not sought a second term and there had been a full Democratic primary contest where the party actually chose whoever they thought was going to be the strongest person to run a full campaign.
Yeah, in a democratic process, we should have had the option of choosing who the best candidate is through some sort of primary process, and Biden should not have run for a second term. I totally agree with that criticism. I don't think that that's inaccurate criticism at all, but he was selfish and had to be forced out, and he was forced out when it was too late. We didn't have a primary process. She was anointed the Democratic candidate.
Yeah, but for all that Biden shouldn't have done that, and we agree 100%, and there's misogyny in the world, of course, for all of the different factors that went into it, they're all making giant excuses for Democratic leadership because MSNBC does propaganda. These are the same people who told you that Joe Biden was young and dynamic and had no problems at all. And they said, we meet with him behind the scenes and he'll talk for 3 hours and be the most, and then he goes on and debates, says, we're going to defeat Medicare, right? So they're literally lying on purpose. And here they are, they're running interference for Democratic politicians so you don't blame the person who actually ran the campaign and the consultants and the lobbyists who ran those campaigns because they're best friends with the people that work at MSNBC. There was no soul searching. All there was finger pointing. If they did soul searching, they'd figure out why they actually lost this race, which is that they did not appeal to the voters enough and they did not deliver enough for the voters. And instead, all they did was these semantics of Queen Latifah and we love celebrities and CEOs. That's why you should vote for us.
Yeah, and like having these celebrities jam these woke opinions down everyone's throats. We're all sick of it. We are. And I'm so happy that it's not just me and it's not just us, this amazing audience. It's the country, the majority, the silent majority is becoming loud. It's about damn time. If you're still watching, comment below like an American flag emoji or an orange heart for the algorithm. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. It's really cool to see the pendulum is finally swinging in our direction, the correct direction. As always, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time.